Okay, I got interested in sports back in the late 1950s, early 60s. Whenever I wasn't playing sports at that time, but my dad was a big LSU football fan, so me and my brother would sit around with him every Saturday night and listen to the LSU football games. And one of the inspiring moments I would say would be in 1959, I would have been 7 years old then. We were listening to the LSU Ole Miss game on Halloween night when Billy Cannon returned a punt for 89 yards and a touchdown. And just to see the excitement on my dad, I've never seen him celebrate like that in my life. From there, I played grade school football at Southside Elementary. And of course, me and my brother, back then, we didn't have video games, we didn't have anything, so we went outside and played. We played football out in the front yard. I guess my first experience in organized sports was at Southside Elementary, where my football coach was Pete Clemon, and the assistant coach was Clarence Joe O'Neill. And they were the ones that first introduced organized sports to me. Obviously, middle school or junior high was involved in football, and then in my freshman year at Denham Springs High School was my first introduction to real organized sports. I remember guys, had the fortunate to play with some of the greats, and actually guys that are in the Hall of Fame, the George Meadows, the Sam DiGirolamos, Grady Hornsby. All of those guys were been an underclassman. They were a huge inspiration to me. I wanted to be like them. Back then, the sports wasn't as widely publicized or televised as it is today. So you didn't have that influence, and you didn't have a YouTube video to teach you how to throw a baseball or dribble a basketball and stuff like that. You were just pretty much on your own. You had to inspire yourself. You just had to want to do it. Probably one that comes to mind is kind of funny. My senior year, when the yearbook came out, there was a picture of me stretching out in the end zone to catch a football. And the caption under the picture read, "Watson makes another spectacular catch." Well, I didn't make that catch. The only touchdown I ever scored was an interception returned for a touchdown, and I don't recall which game it was. Another incident that comes to mind was we were playing, I think this was my junior year, we were playing Walker. We won rather handedly, and what I remember about the game is Jim Beasley and Jimmy Tullis run up and down the field all night long. And I was running interference for Beasley on a in sweep, and I blocked my guy, and I was getting up off the ground. I could hear one of the coaches say something to a couple of the Walker players, and they just simply said, "Coach, we can't tackle these guys. We just cannot tackle them." And back in those days, if you played football, unless you were a skilled position player, like a quarterback, maybe a wide receiver, a running back, you played both ways. I mean, that's just what you did. And that made the team closer as far as offensively and defensively. And we worked as a team both ways, same people. And I think that's attributed to our success. In 1970, my senior year, we went undefeated, and I don't recall the exact stats, but I think we allowed like only 23, 26 points the whole year. It was just an amazing defensive effort. Being selected to the first team All-State defensive team was certainly an honor. It was a team effort that allowed that to happen. I mean, I appreciated the award, but it would not have happened without the amazing coaching staff and the other players that supported that effort. The town or city of Denham Springs, back in the day, and still is now, the support that the athletics get from the businesses, sponsorship, the fans, the Yellow Jacket Nation, it's just amazing. I mean, you know that it's from the heart, and on a Friday night on a football game, it's just amazing. The beginning of track season usually coincided with the end of football season, so that transition was pretty smooth. And it also helped that my track coach was also my defensive line coach in football, Coach Lloyd DeGeneres. In my freshman year, I never even thought about track and field. Knew what it was, knew there was running events and then field events, but I never even considered it. Well, Coach DeGeneres informed me that I was on the track team, and so that was how that started. And you know, obviously I was able to compete at a high level because of the teammates and the coaching and stuff like that. We never had a track to practice on. We were called the Cinderless Wonders. I think my 4 years, at least my 3 years there, we won district champions. And the patch on our letter jacket had Cinderless Wonders. So we practiced on dirt, grass, just to be selected to the Denham Springs High School Athletic Hall of Fame is just to even be mentioned in the same breath as some of those great athletes before me. It's just amazing, and it's something that I'll cherish. It's a great fraternity, and I'm just so honored to be a part of it. The Grady Hornsby's, the George Meadows, the Sam DiGirolamo, Jim Beasley, Harvey Armstrong was my quarterback, and just to be a part of we were a team in a sport, and now we are a team in a fraternity of the Hall of Fame. Selection committee, of course, my former teammates I'd like to thank, and especially the amazing coaching staff that I had back then. Even the cheerleaders, you know, they supported us, they cheered for us every game, wherever we were at. Last but not least, the Yellow Jacket Nation, the fans that came out on Friday nights and traveled wherever we played and supported us.